Welcome to the Well-Designed Home Podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Brunk, Principal Interior Designer at Timeless Designs by Melissa. We are a premier, full-service interior design studio serving Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the Iowa Great Lakes, and Rochester, Minnesota. Our mission is to create enduring, bespoke homes that celebrate a life well lived. With over 20 years of industry experience, we craft personal havens where every detail reflects the essence of your family, evoking feelings of joy, belonging, and pure delight. Join us as we transform the building and remodeling industry one home at a time, because there's no place like your home. Oh, welcome to today's episode. Today we're talking all things real estate, and today we have none other than Amy Stockberger from Amy Stockberger Real Estate. So welcome. I'm so glad you get to enjoy us today.
Thank you. Honored to be here. I'm so excited to share and chat.
Yeah. Okay, so first things first, Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Amy Stockberger. I am one of the broker owners of Amy Stockberger Real Estate. We help buyers and sellers build wealth through real estate using our lifetime home support model. Our clients can save up to $20,000 in the first year, and the support and savings continue for life.
I love that. I know we talked about that a lot before, but having the home support like throughout is amazing. You have vehicles to use, you have party equipment. I mean, it's just amazing. It makes so much sense. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. It took a quick backstory on it. Do you want to hear the backstory real quick? Okay. So I'd been in the business for about a decade and found a major hole in my business. We were really, really doing well in the before and during. One of my superpowers is systems. So we had the systems down for the before and during parts of the transaction, but then we just weren't getting that repeat and referral business that for how happy our clients were that we should have been getting. And it bummed me out, and I just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what was I missing? Like, what wasn't I doing that we weren't getting that repeat and referral? And had to do a bunch of, extreme ownership and look and say, okay, what is my point of difference? And all I could come up with, and this was 10 years into the business, so how embarrassing, right? My point of difference was that I was the local expert at connecting buyers and sellers. That's my actual job description. It's not a unique value proposition.
Yeah.
That is like table stakes. That's just like having an attorney come up to you and say, you should use me because I passed the bar.
Right.
Or a surgeon saying, I have steady hands.
Right.
Those are table stakes. So I had to really look into it and say, how could I care for my clients authentically in a way that took care of their wants and needs and desires before mine, and take care of, because we're super connectors in our business,
right?
Knowing that we connect not only buyers and sellers, but they come to us for resources in every part of their homeownership and their human experience journey. And I just had to really decide, okay, what am I going to do to make that a big point of our difference, our unique value proposition? And that's how Lifetime Home Support was born, because I was failing forward over and over for 10 years until I figured it out. Yeah.
And it just keeps growing.
Yes.
Keep adding.
Right. Well, yeah. If you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Right.
Right. To my leadership and my husband's probably not what they love, but I'm like, can you imagine if we didn't keep growing? You guys would be so bored.
Right. Right. That's a necessity.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So it's the beginning of 2025. So what big goals do you have for this year?
Well, the theme for 2025 for Amy Stockberger Real Estate is compounded growth. And what that means for us is ways to not compound just our growth, but compound everybody in our ecosystem's growth. And how when we do that, everybody wins, and like how beautiful does that feel when everybody wins on that? And so the focus is really that, and in that compounded, what that means to me is one of my things is keep your business SAD, systemized, automated, and delegated or deleted. And so that compounded means for us, like as much as we can more systemize and automate, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Nice. So what challenges are there with that and just real estate in general?
Well, are you familiar with 2023 and 2024 market? There's been some affordability issues. I've been doing this. 2025 is actually my 25th year in the business.
Well, that's really exciting.
Yeah, my 23rd year licensed. And 2023 and 2024 were just really interesting years in that we had, I think in the world, the strangest years we've had as humans.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was just a really strange years. And we have a lot of people who are in 3-4% interest rates, and we saw interest rates that were just a little bit higher. And so that strike rate hasn't really hit for a lot of people. So there's a ton of demand, ton of people whose lives have changed, which when a life change happens, anybody in a life change typically has a housing need that lags right behind.
Sure.
And so a lot of people's lives have changed in 2023 and 2024, but there just wasn't a lot of movement, nationwide and locally. The transactions were down because of that affordability and those things. So I anticipate 2025, depending on where we see, interest rates go, but from what we're already seeing, it's going to be a pretty stellar year. Yeah. It's been pretty busy. It was actually really busy starting in November. December was one of our biggest closed months in all of 2024 because November got so busy.
So with that, if you start working with a client, say in November, what is the time frame where I know it depends, but when you're working with a client, what is that time frame from starting to closing?
Okay. So from contract to close is usually in between 30 to 60 days, depending on what that, starting onboarding a buyer to finding that right house, that's where the variable is. It depends on what our inventory levels are at, because that's the other thing. We haven't had a huge spike in inventory of houses on the market. We've seen more inventory than we have in a while, but there's still an inventory issue out there where there isn't the amount of houses, and low inventory causes low inventory. Because think about this. The people who have the houses that we need to go on the market can't find their replacement house.
Sure.
So they're not putting their replacement house on. So those two kind of work together. And so if we're talking through, say the busiest price point is underneath that 400,000 always. That's when the most people have the most affordability in there. And so if you think that it probably takes maybe 12 houses to 15 houses for them to view before they find the one that matches their parameter and pricings strategy, then from there, you could get into it within 6 weeks from beginning to end.
Okay,
and that's not bad at all.
Yeah, no, I know we probably looked at 100 houses before we found our acreage. It can be a process.
Oh gosh,
I know that.
Yeah, and I call it exercising your consumer muscle. I tell buyers all the time, this is a big deal. This is likely something that most people do, 2 to 5 times in their life. So let's exercise your consumer muscle and look at everything that is close, because there's no such thing as a perfect house. It doesn't exist. I've sold thousands of houses, never sold a perfect one.
I've heard there's 15 to 20% of the house that you don't absolutely love. There's something about it, but for the most part, it checks all the boxes.
That's right. In our onboarding for our buyers, we set that expectation. We call it the 80-10-10 rule. 80% you love, 10% you can change, 10% you can live with.
Yeah. Very true. Okay. So do you deal just with homes on the market, new builds? Do you deal with land acquisition? How does that piece of the business work?
Yeah, we deal mainly everything residential. We don't do a lot of land development. We've had a couple of twin home developments that we work on, my husband and I, with some a builder partner down in 9 Mile Lake. Great twin home, luxury twin homes down there. But we handle everything single family. So you're thinking townhome, twin home, condo, single family, anything residential, I should say. Townhome, twin home, condo, single family, bare lots that are already developed. We can help with that. So we do a little bit of commercial, but if it gets too big into commercial, we do, send it over to our commercial partner here in town that helps our clients. But we know a little bit to be dangerous, and we do our own commercial, but I'd rather have somebody who works right in that lane all the time.
Yeah, stay in your lane, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm working in my zone of genius and give it over to somebody else's zone of genius.
Right. Okay, so someone gives you a call. They're considering selling.
Yes.
Then how does that work?
We do our listing appointments in 2 steps. So first appointment, super informal. Come out to the house. Takes 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how often or how long we talk. Does not have to be in show condition. Before that, though, before I arrive, we're going through and pulling all the information we need, correct? Taxes, permits, things like that. And show up for the appointment. They give us a tour. We sit down and understand their goals and what they're looking for. Have them walk us through the property so we can get the lay of the land. And then we go, and the second appointment is set. And we usually meet at my office, and we sit down. And that's where, in between then, we're doing our homework, and we're figuring out where their house is going to hit within today's market. I call the real estate market a she. She ebbs, she flows. Nobody tells that girl what to do. We just price within her parameters.
Yeah.
And so we give a ballpark price during that second appointment, where first we go over our whole list of launch strategy, our marketing strategy, and how we're going to get the most amount of eyeballs on their house to get their goals met and mitigate the most amount of risk. That's the other thing, that it's risky when you work with humans. They're the riskiest creatures out there, us humans. Besides polar bears, I heard they're pretty scary too. But
I wouldn't want to meet one of them.
But yeah, they're the risky creatures. So that's a big part of our job, is mitigating as much risk as we can, so that we can really get their goals met as swiftly as possible. And then we give them that market analysis. Based upon my strategy is I price my houses 50% off the sold market, because that's what we have to work with what appraisers are going to use, or what the bank is going to use if they're getting a mortgage. Then I also, my other strategy is 50% on the active market, because at the end of the day, a buyer is going to pay what they feel the house is worth, and they're going to compare our house to every other house that's out there actively, because why wouldn't they? It's too big of a purchase.
Right, exactly.
Right? And so we have to see, are we better than that house? Are they better than us? Or are we right in the middle? And where can we juice that? Where can we put some more dollars based upon that? But we have to be realistic and adjust our clients' expectations to what reality is on the market. Because if a buyer is going to feel it's overpriced, it's going to sit, and that's going to cost them thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And then staying the pulse on her, the real estate market. She changes. We're watching her every day, and houses that are on the market, like, hey, we just saw 5 of your houses that are at the same price when under contract. We didn't. The market's speaking. She's very loud.
Yeah. Re-look at that listing and see, like, do you need to change anything?
Right. Yep. Is it an upgrade that we need to add? Is it a price improvement? Because you pay for your neighbor's sins. So if you have two neighbors who had a divorce or a relocation and they had a fire sale, you pay for those sins, because that directly affects your pricing. However, you get to enjoy your neighbor's glories too. In our markets where the market's going up quick, and all of a sudden they have a cash buyer who's paid above market value for that house, that adjusts.
Bonus for you.
Yeah, that adjusts that appreciation. And wealth through real estate, besides God and my family, my favorite thing in the entire world, besides building juicy legacies for everybody. But in Sioux Falls, in our Sioux Falls area, you can build some beautiful wealth through real estate, because our houses appreciate in such a beautiful, steady fashion. And you can be in it, and I call it building memories and money at the same time, because we're so lucky to live in this little nugget.
Yeah, it is a really great market.
It is. Oh.
So if someone has a home that maybe needs some updates, what are those updates that have a better ROI? So if you come in and it's maybe some things need to be looked at, what are the things that, generally speaking, you're telling clients that these are the things that you're going to have a better ROI?
Well, call Melissa first. Get Melissa out there. Yeah. Well, the exterior, the first 30 seconds are the biggest 30 seconds for a homeowner or buyer, or just a human, because that's where that emotionally it starts to speak for them. And we are emotional humans.
Yes, very much so.
Yep. And we're visual people. And 9 out of 10 times it's the woman, if it's a woman-man relationship, that makes that final decision. And God made women very, very visual humans. That's just who we are. And so having that curb appeal, a door that isn't ready to fall off the hinges, needs a paint job, something that has that great improvement or that great visualization there. But like big ROIs are going to be, and I guess it depends on what the market's doing. If they want to enjoy that kitchen and put a whole brand new kitchen in, and they're going to stay in it for a little bit, and it's priceable within their market or where they're at in their house, then I say, yeah, we can do that. But if it's little stuff like fresh paint, new hardware, updated light fixtures, things
those go a long way.
Oh my gosh, even flooring that you can get pretty economical. That just goes a long way of just tightening it up, making it look refreshed, a new breath of air. But kitchens and masters sell houses. all day long. They just do. That's where people spend the most amount of their time.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you think about, you have people come over, you're always in the kitchen.
Right.
You always end up in the kitchen. That's where...
No matter how beautiful the rest of the house is.
Right. That's where you hang out.
I was just at a holiday party for one of my clients who bought this stunner of a new construction. And the house is all open, 2-story. So all, the main. She had a great big holiday party. I was talking to her in the kitchen. She's like, what is everybody doing? Why are they so close? They come in, she's from here, but came back in. I'm like, this is where they go. They don't go anywhere else. This is where they're at.
The center of the home.
Right. It's the hub. I call it the hub. What's the hub of your house look like? The hub.
Yeah. Okay. So then someone comes into your office and they say, my house isn't working for me. I would like to buy something else.
We're quick. Somebody comes into the office and says they want to sell their house because it's not.
Yep. They want to upgrade, change something, whatever.
So it starts with world-class questions, like asking what their current house is like if they're in my office, getting an idea what it is they don't like or what they're looking for in the new one, and just asking those questions on what are the big parameters that they want in the next house, getting them onboarded on the buyer side of it so that we can get them out all the houses that meet their parameters that are on market.
Those 80%.
Yep. As well as the ones that are off market. Because again, in a low inventory market, we're also looking for those off-market properties that could be a fit for them. And so we start doing that. But then point A really, for most people, is getting an idea of what their price is going to be on their current home. So we set up that first appointment to get into the house so I can get them that point A, like here's what your estimated sales price is going to be. And then I show them the breakdown based upon that, based upon the closing fees, et cetera. This is what your estimated net's going to be so that they can figure out what that dollar amount looks like on what they're going to do for their cash situation on the next side. And of course, we're always getting them hooked up with one of our lender partners to make sure that they have clear-cut expectations and knowledge of what those numbers look like. Because once they have that, then it really takes away all the anxiety of it. It's a big deal. Moving is a big part of people's lives. And so trying to eliminate as much of those anxiety-provoking parts right from the beginning so that they can have a plan. A lot of people need a plan. They need a plan. Yep, here's the plan. So we do this, then we do this, and here's the next steps. That's kind of one of our things is here's what next steps look like. And we have a communication is one of our core values. We call it communication cubed because while location is very key in real estate, if you do not have communication cubed to begin with, it still is going to have a lot of energy of anxiety. Yeah. And so we try to alleviate what next steps are all the time. So they're always getting that extra bit of communication. So even like with I call it my seasons of the contract videos throughout the entire transaction, while we're going to walk you through every stage of the transaction, our clients also get a video after that explains the same thing because we all intake information differently.
True.
And it lives within their client portal so they can always go back and reference this. Of course, call us, email, text us, but sometimes people, I just would prefer they had all the information at their hands all the time just to go back because it is a big deal.
Right. And like I tell clients all the time, we're not going to Macy's to buy a top. Like buying a home, investing in a home, no matter how you cut it, it's a huge investment and it's a process.
Right. It's a big deal. That's where our memories are. Our Christmases, our holidays, our cuddles in the morning before they go to school, all those things.
Right. Exactly.
The good and bad of life. That's where it happens.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I think I maybe heard that there's been some changes in real estate where if you're showing a home to a client, you have to have a form signed, meaning that you're strictly working with that client. Is that true?
That is, yep. NAR had a settlement that happened in 2024, National Association of Realtors. Biggest thing for clients, consumers to know, it's really a disclosure issue. And in the state of South Dakota, we've always had a requirement that you have to sign paperwork after you've shown them at least one house. Now, nationwide, it just changed where upon showing any house, there has to be some paperwork that's signed where it's line itemed out so everybody understands how the buyer's agent is being compensated. And so it's just a one more step that they put in place. In South Dakota, for the most part, we were set up for this change. My brokerage we didn't even really skip a beat because we have, so much value we offer our clients right out of the chute. And you can sign a 1-day contract with your agent. You can sign a 2-day, you can extend it just to get, if you want to date for a little bit and get to see if we're a fit for you, that's fine. And then with my company, we have a love it or leave it guarantee too that we put right in place. And so what that means is that we write in writing a guarantee that if for any reason our clients don't love the house within the first year before closing, we'll come back and help them sell it, and we'll work for free on our side, and they can go find another house in our market. I think that's how sure we are and confident in the fact that
really amazing.
Yeah, that way because we want to make sure they know that this just isn't a one-off deal. No, that we're lifetime home support, and we want to make sure they're finding the best house that matches their parameters and their budget, and we're going to help them exercise that consumer muscle to make sure they're making good decisions. We work with a lot of relocating clients, and so like my thing with relocating clients is you need 72 hours with me. I need you in on and off slip-off shoes, and I need to know what your caffeine intake looks like and what kind of snacks you need, because you start making bad decisions when your blood sugar goes low. And so I keep them snacked. I keep them caffeinated if caffeination. We have to get out and do walks, but I'm going to make sure that you're making the best decisions, because this isn't a light decision. It isn't a top at Macy's. We're talking about a house for your family.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And we don't take it lightly. Yeah.
That would be fun. Here's your coffee. Here's your snacks.
We're getting out, taking a quick little walk, but you'll see, like, sometimes I've seen over my years in this, that something that was really important to them on day one, all of a sudden in the morning, and all of a sudden we get to afternoon at 2:00 after we've had lunch and we've done that, and they're making just terrible decisions because their blood sugar is all goofy. They haven't had caffeine. I'm like, we're going to take a little stop. We're going to go do this. We'll do this. Let's reevaluate really quick, make sure we're all on the same page, because you're not saying something that was consistent with what your wants, needs, and desires were when we were onboarding.
Yeah. You were here, and now you're here.
Tell me what's changed. Oh, just a Starbucks? We're back on. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so what's maybe one thing that's misunderstood in the real estate industry?
Misunderstood. Well, I think I think what should be something that is known is that we're not just real estate agents, and I don't think anybody in this industry should be just real estate agents. They should be a lifetime advisor. It's a big deal. It should be the same thing like a wealth advisor, because they're, over, I think it's like 73% of Americans, their net worth, the majority of the 73% of Americans' net worth is from their homes. So we should be acting in an advisory role for all of their homeownership and their human experience journey, and knowing that we're there for all of those referrals, for all of those things they need through all of that. That should be an advisory role.
That's a really good point.
It should be the same thing, that we're in there, that they just come back to the real estate agent who is taking care of everything, because we know it.
You know their needs and what their wants are. And
That's truly why I created Lifetime Home Support too. So I didn't want it to be done. After it was done, like, the closing was such a letdown for me.
Right.
It's like, oh gosh, okay. I feel like our relationship is going to, like, you get so close with your people through so much, and you're working with humans, again, a life change. That's what, that's why I say, like, who in your life is having a life change? Because likely anybody in a life change has a housing need, but a life change is getting married, getting divorced, getting a new job, losing a job, having a child leave the house, having more come in. All those things, good or bad, we're a part of those. And humans oftentimes, you just become so close with them during those relationships because they're humans and they're emotional and they need support during that.
Yeah. I experienced a little bit of that in design. You spend a year or more sometimes with clients, and you get really close with them, and then here's your house. It's so great. And then it's like a bad breakup. Right. So you should maybe talk about something on how we can keep that going.
Yes.
The client I'm working with now, she's like, you are going to have to come every week, and we're going to have coffee still.
I love that. See, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's all about relationships, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the books that, I think every entrepreneur should read is The Go-Giver. They should also read Tribes. They should also read Raving Fans. But it's really, if you are putting your clients, your people's, like our agents, I feel the same way about our agents. I feel the same way about my home support team partners. That if you're putting your wants and needs and desires in front of mine, sales will follow. It's about being authentic. Authenticity is 4,000 times stronger than the human emotional love. If you lead your business with authenticity, the rest falls into place.
I have 2 books now I have to listen to. Awesome. Okay, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you would like to chat about?
Well, I have these amazing home support team vendors within my program. So they're made up of about 100 different vendors because we know we're super connectors. Our clients come to us on who they should be connected with before, during, and forever. And so that's one big, point of difference for us is that you're one of them, these great partners who are there to take care of our clients, giving them legendary care like we do and some preferential treatment. So that's one big thing that we really love for our clients and being their lifetime advisor, that we have these relationships with you guys.
And within that home support team, there's everybody.
There is.
Everybody. Anybody you could possibly want or need.
Right.
It's really great.
For homeownership and human experience, because that's part of it too. Like our party shed we give away. That was one of the reasons I created that is we have a tool shed for everything they don't want to rent by our store.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah. Well, because they don't. Home ownership is hard. It's a big deal, and you don't want to rent by our store. So it's like actually how it started. I stole everything out of my husband's garage. I'm like, man, I'm going to label this. I'm going to put it, and I said, you can come rent it out after our clients are done. Because I wanted to have a resource for them for this really big investment in their lives. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, they have other things that are happening. They have parties. So that's what we put in, our bounce house, our cotton candy, snow cone, popcorn, our tables and chairs. In May, we had 800 pieces of VIP equipment checked out. That was a record for us.
Wow. I saw quite a few posts, thanks. This was the greatest graduation party because we got to use the items. It was, it's amazing.
Thank you. It's so fun to be able to see them. And I had one client who her husband had been battling cancer for a handful of years, came in, and my mom works for us. And so my mom,
she's so great.
Oh, she's a care bear. She has her own cloud in heaven. Raised 3 single girls. She was a single mom, raised 3 girls. Seriously, her own cloud. Wow. She's gone through this stuff. But she's like, just so you know, this client who I've helped him with a lot of different houses and their friends and family, she's like, he's clean. He's got a clean bill of health. She came in and rented every piece of equipment so they could throw this giant party for her husband. And it was like, I got goosebumps. I'm like, we got to be a part of something so big and monumental in their life.
Right.
And that she had a place where she could be like, I can come and get all of this and throw this giant party of celebration.
And just enjoy the celebration.
Right. Yeah. So that's why I do it.
Oh, yeah. So great.
Yeah. I get kind of misty thinking about that. It was such a fun, because I saw her on Monday when she was bringing it back, and I'm like,
how was the party?
Yeah. They're so excited. Yeah.
Oh, that's so amazing. I love that. Okay. So where can everybody find you?
You can find Amy Stockberger Real Estate on any social media at Amy Stockberger Real Estate. You can follow me at Amy Stockberger on Instagram, Facebook, and would love to connect and help you with your wealth or real estate needs.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. This was really great.
I'm honored. Thank you for asking.
Thanks, Amy.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning into a Well-Designed Home podcast. We hope today's episode inspired you to take the next steps towards creating the home of your dreams. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. New episodes are uploaded every Friday afternoon for your listening delight. We'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review to help more listeners discover the show. And while you're at it, sign up for our newsletter at timelessdesignsbymelissa.com. to have every episode and other design-related items delivered directly to your inbox. Looking for more resources? Download our complimentary guide, How to Hire the Right Interior Designer, on our website to ensure your next project is a success. Stay connected with us on social media. Follow Timeless Designs by Melissa on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube for behind-the-scenes content, design tips, and so much more. If you're ready to start your own design journey or have questions, reach out to us at concierge@timelessdesignsbymelissa.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for joining us on a Well-Designed Home podcast. Until next time, here's to making every space a timeless reflection of you.